Can you understand that? And it takes the selfishness out of it. And if you do it altruistically, which is what healing is, altruistically helping, finding the other person's soul and helping them to find it. But you find it not to help you find your own, but because it helps the other person to find their soul. So you're going, as it were, from your deep unconscious to that person's deep unconscious, and you recognizing this in the other person helps them to recognize it in themselves and therefore in others. Okay? So to me, all of my work for many years, increasingly effectively, I hope, has been to help people find their souls, through helping them find other people's souls, especially their mothers. Especially their mothers. And if I had my work all over again, I would declare a moratorium on motherhood. There's nothing more important than helping mothers. I mean, look at the crises we've gone through in recent times. Can you imagine any of these stockbrokers who have given us, bankers and politicians who have given us so much trouble? Can you really believe that they feel loved by their mothers? Makes you think. They wouldn't act that way. They wouldn't be so greedy. They wouldn't have to be greedy. If you've got to gobble up everything because you don't think mum is going to feed you again, then you just change over from food to money, and you understand the whole banking crisis. So, the purpose of my art is to help you find your souls there, to find your mother's soul there, and therefore find your own. Now I can say, we've got to help you find your soul. We will do this. We will meditate. Yes, fine, exactly. But it's far easier if you go out to come in. Go out to come in. So, all these artwork, whatever you want to call them, have been done in what I would call a state of passive meditation, quiet meditation, tuning, as I've done for a long time, tuning in on my mother's soul, on my soul, or if I'm thinking of a particular person in trouble, of their soul, and then doing whatever is given to me to do on the paper, the canvas, whatever it may be. And I have no idea what that is going to be, and very often I have no idea what it is until I've finished, because it seems like I'm not doing it, it's being done through me. And afterwards I'm always amazed at what happens. Look back and you say, I did that. It's like, sometimes I think it's like a potter, in a way that you put what you've made, or has been made through you, into the kiln, and it comes out maybe a week or two later. You say, gee, that's what it was. So you sit back, it's like it comes out of the kiln, you say, oh, gee, that's what happened, huh? And it's been cooking without my, as it were, conscious or particularly conscious knowledge of it. But it's always with the intention that it will help others to find their souls through, as it were, finding it there, and then in others, and then in themselves. So it's always with that intention. So I'm not an artist. I'm a healer, helping people to be whole, to be one with their soul, to at last be one with their soul, which at last overcomes their anguish by using the paintings, and we do it with music and many other modalities at all, but we're talking about art, and photography the same. Now photography, just give me your camera, Ash. See, would you people like to come and sit down here? You want to come and sit down here? Oh. See, photography is also very fascinating, because now we have a subject, right? But what you do when you're looking, sorry, yes, just took a picture. Not too bad, right? But that was a snapshot. That was a snapshot. But if I'm taking a a photograph like I normally do, preferably on a tripod, I am relating to the subject, whether it be a person or whether it be a tree or whatever it may be. And I am in an active relationship. And I don't push the shutter until I feel that there's some connection between, as it were, I've made contact with the spirit of that person. Now there's a Japanese school of Buddhism called Tendi, T-E-N-D-A-I. Has anyone heard of it? No, it's not very well known, but it says that everything has spirit. All those objects downstairs there, everything has spirit. Everything is an instance of the spirit world. And we have if we want to, we can relate. I mean, if I was taking that radiator there, I would be trying, and it's not so easy to do, I would be trying to find its spirit and have it coming back to me before I took the picture. With people, it's easier, but with trees, with flowers, with birds, whatever it may be, but everything has this spirit nature. I'll tell you something interesting. I can. Now, one thing. Thanks, Ash. I had an opportunity once to get into the Metropolitan Museum when it was closed, because I used to treat someone who was a senior official there. And I was able to go through and examine the life energy, the healing energy of a lot of the famous paintings in there, which is a very fascinating experience, very, very unique. And every painting has, as distinct from a reproduction, every painting has a energy that emanates out from it, which to some extent depends on the size of the painting, but more so depends on the amount of energy that the artist has put into it. And you could find the point in the room where that energy was concentrated, which very often, although not only, was where I believe the painter was imagining the viewer looking. So if it was a big painting got to stand back 20 feet, he's standing back 20 feet and adjusting it there. If it's a little giotto or something like an altarpiece, they'd be up very close because people are up very close to see it. But the higher the life energy, the further it would emanate. So what we were able to do, we went in with a healer, what we were able to do is to measure how far out the energy came, and suppose it came out 3 feet or something, you see? And then have the healer recognize the spirit in the painting. And now the energy would come out right across the room. So paintings are alive in their own world. Capital A, L-I-V-E, exclamation mark. Rocks are alive. That bag, everything is alive if we just look at it that way as all being an instance of spirit. It's all alive. Now, there was a wonderful psychoanalyst called Lewis Cholden, C-H-O-L-D-E-N, who in 1956, just shows how much television has changed. CBS did a whole hour documentary of him working with a mute schizophrenic woman in a mental hospital. Imagine that on CBS today. On Fox News even, I mean, which is a mental hospital. It's just to see him spending hours after hours just putting his hand out, saying a few words, and ultimately the woman touching his hand and starting to talk. It was a very, very magical experience. Now, unfortunately, he died soon after, but I've been espousing his work since I first read it in 1962. And what he said was, everybody has what he called the integrative factor, which I would call the healing power within them. Everybody, no matter how far gone, everybody has that.